Op 4 has placed a diffuser near a bomb. Destroy it. Op 4, last stop standing.
Holy shit, good job.
Diffuser located. Disable it.
Let's go, baby.
Disable the bomb diffuser. Good work.
Hey guys, Solo here, and in this video we will be discussing a highly debated topic within the gaming community. The video today is about aim trainers. As you saw in the beginning of the video, I will say that had I not been aim training for a while, I do not think I would have hit the shots that I did to clutch that match. But with that said, do aim trainers actually work, or is it all a bunch of malarkey? Is warming up necessary? We have a lot to cover in this video, so let's jump right into it. We actually need to define a few things before we actually get into the highly debated topic of aim trainer or not. What is gaming aim, or more specifically, virtual aim? Virtual aim, as I have read it, is described as the ability to control a medium to direct a mouse reticle/cursor at a target. Plainly put, it is how well we can control our mouse. Virtual aim has a couple of subcomponents we need to mention as well. Those would be tracking and click timing. Tracking is defined as the ability to follow a visual stimulus with your mouse reticle. Click timing is defined as the ability to time an appropriate click on a target with a moving or non-moving mouse reticle. Here you can see on the screen some definitions that go from dynamic to static and tracking and click timing. So you can pause here if you need to read further. It is very important to understand these things. Understanding these two things can help a coach or an individual provide a more tailored training regimen for their aiming skills. This brings me to my next talking point. Aiming. Is aiming a skill? Before you say yes, let's define the word skill. Skill is defined as the ability to consistently perform coordinated movement sequences for the purposes of attaining an action goal. And just how are skills learned and perfected? In order to get really good at the skill, you have to practice and get experience with it. So what exactly are the kind of skills that can be applied in gaming? Well, you have discrete, serial, and continuous skills. Aim is a mechanical skill that can correlate with all three types of skills. When you break down aim at its core, you can apply it to all three of these skills that you see on your screen now. Again, you can take a moment to pause the video here, get a better read on the screen as the skills you see here defined. Now, let's talk about the physiology and science behind aim training. We first need to start with some basic neuroscience and physiological systems that are involved with aim. Your brain is key here, and there are three major brain regions involved here. As you can see, we have the primary motor cortex, the basal ganglia, probably said that wrong, and the cerebellum. We really only need to focus on the cerebellum and motor cortex, because those two, they control how we move, therefore how we aim. Cerebellum and the motor cortex control both gross and fine motor skills. When gaming, you consistently use these regions of the brain which are controlling your shoulder, wrist, and finger movement. It goes a little something like this. The movement starts with activity in these areas of the brain, traveling down specific pathways into our brainstem. Then it moves to the spine, and then into the specific muscles of the shoulder, forearm, and hand. So with that being said, there are two major ways we can approach improving our aim and mouse control. Studies have shown the primary way is virtual training. Virtual training, or VT, involves using an application to train specific sub-skills of aim. It is said that it is the primary way to better your aim because it directly trains your ability to aim through different scenarios and exercises mimicking in-game environments. VT can also be broken down into two subcategories as well. Those would be peripheral control VT and esports specific VT. Now, unless you're familiar with this, which I wasn't until I researched it, I will tell you what both of those mean. Peripheral VT refers to using a third-party application such as AimLab or Kovacs to train specific sub-skills of aiming. Peripheral VT has been linked to improve mouse control, click timing, and tracking. Repeated use of a program like AimLab or Kovacs can really up your game based on what we have learned so far. Esports specific VT involves being able to use custom maps within your game of choice. Example would be Terrorist Hunt, Training Grounds for Siege, to focus on sub-skills of aim. Based on what I've read and researched, this type of VT is not as efficient as an aim trainer. The goal to get better with your aim, a musical instrument, or any skill really is repetition. You need to maximize your reps per minute for any motor control based training in order for you to achieve any type of improvements. Now let's talk about the second way, or the second major way to improve your aim. Studies have shown the other way to get better is, well, physical exercise. While it is certainly healthy to do a full body workout, we're specifically talking about aim and gaming here. When it comes to aim, there are certain workouts that you can do to focus solely on the path that our aim comes from. These exercises have been shown in studies to address gaining speed, endurance, gross coordination and motor control, and proprioception. Here are a few of the exercises that I'm talking about. You have bilateral TheraBand external rotation. You have wrist extension with a dumbbell. You have composite finger extension exercise, proprioceptive shoulder and wrist exercise as well. So when it comes down to it, the main difference between peripheral and esports VT is essentially the amount of reps you get. Studies have shown that you get more reps per minute with an aim trainer rather than the esports VT, your custom maps, terrorist hunt, that kind of thing. Alright. Now that we've talked about the sciences behind aim training, what happens if we are consistent with aim training? Well, the main system in your body that responds to VT is the nervous system. So with consistent aim training, your body will develop neural adaptations that improve your aim via the pathway we discussed earlier. A lot of people believe that aim improvement is also rooted in the theory of neuroplasticity. What does neuroplasticity mean? It is defined as the inherent ability of your brain and nervous system to adapt and make changes for the better. When you consistently aim train and exercise, it is believed that the following happens. It is believed and being studied that you can process information in your brain quicker and better. Therefore, after an extensive use of an aim trainer, your brain will have less activity because it becomes, quote, muscle memory and does not need to use metabolic resources of the brain to the muscle pathways. Studies have also shown that signals from the brain to the, quote, aiming pathway travel more quickly. So the more you use an aim trainer, the better your motor skills will be and become more efficient. With consistent use of an aim trainer, it has also been shown to give you more efficient use of your muscle fibers. Inside of your muscles, you have what's called slow and fast muscle fibers. We humans are genetically predisposed to use a certain amount of both fibers when making movements. Think of your slow fibers as your muscle endurance, and your fast fibers are the explosive and quick movement muscles. For example, when you do a fast flick of the mouse, you would essentially only need to use your fast muscle fibers. However, studies have shown that if you do not use an aim trainer, or if you're unfamiliar with that movement, you could potentially get some slow fibers mixed in there with the fast, creating inefficiency of the movement, aka bad aim, or what we call potato aim. As you aim train, your brain identifies what fibers are needed where and when, thus making your mouse movement more efficient and accurate. Wow, we have covered a lot, and what a mouthful. And yeah, I've thrown a lot at you. How do you feel? Well, if you feel a bit overwhelmed, don't worry, you can always pause and go back to somewhere in the video and restart if you need to. I had to read what I was researching several times, so don't feel bad if you have to. So what have we learned that the science and the studies have shown us? Well, it seems that using an aim trainer with an application is better than not using one at all. There are numerous types of aim trainers out, but I choose to use AimLab solely. No, I'm not sponsored by them, and this is not anything like that. I'm just a small fish in a big ocean, but I really enjoy their program. They have a multi-year deal to be the official aim trainer for Rainbow Six Siege athletes in Pro League, and they've also partnered with the esports team Dark Zero to make up routines and warm-up scenarios. So I figured since Siege is my main game, I should probably stick with AimLab, since they will be coming out with some really cool stuff to help me in the future, and anybody else that downloads it and plays Siege like I do. They seriously have everything you need in AimLab. They have tasks that are broken down by category as well as by game. AimLab is not strictly for Rainbow Six Siege. There's also Valorant and plenty of other tasks that you can do inside of AimLabs there as well. They have a section where people have created their own training and warm-up scenarios, as well as a creator studio for you to make your own and share it with the world. I personally use AimLab at least an hour a day, sometimes more, and I have even seen a drastic change in my aim since I started using it. My wife even uses it, and she's drastically improved her aim, and she does not even play competitively like I do. I personally like to warm up with Grid Shot. This works on the accuracy and speed of your flick shots. For tracking, I like to use Circle Track. This works on your tracking in a 360-degree motion from side to side. Personally, my worst trait is tracking, and I'm terrible at it, so I need to improve that the most. The other tasks include speed, precision, audio and visual cues, and many other things to help you improve your aim and your gameplay. Well, you can get AimLabs on Steam. It's free, and it's free to make an account if you want to download it and try it out. Again, there's no sponsorship here, just telling you that it would make sense to use it if you're a Siege player, and since they're partnered with Siege and its Pro League divisions. We have covered a lot in this video, and hopefully if you were unsure or on the fence about whether or not to use an aim trainer, hopefully this will help you make an informed decision on your own. I'll be wrapping up the video here shortly, so I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope it has given you some information that you may not have known. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're new. Also, show me a wicked wrist flick over to that bell. Give it a click so you don't miss out on future uploads. All of that is free. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it really helps support the channel. I want to thank you so much for watching, and as always, watch your six.